I will admit that I have been very critical of James Wiseman. I wasn't the highest on him entering the league, as I didn't think he was a top 5 prospect in the draft. I thought he was being miscast as a type of big man prospect that he just wasn't. I didn't think his skill set was something that was actually being projected based off what was reflected in the tape. And I wasn't the biggest fan of the Warriors taking him second overall, because I'm a big believer in talent over fit, especially with a top 2 pick. However, recently I have begun to slightly change my stance on James Wiseman. The more I think about it, the more I realize just how much the context of his situation plays a role in what we have and haven't seen from him so far, and I was encouraged by what I saw from him recently. I think it's safe to say that Wiseman has been dealt one of the worst hands a top 2 pick has ever been dealt in the last 5 years. First of all, he has the whole situation at Memphis where he only played in 3 games, and only one of those games was against a good team. And mind you, this is because of something that likely wouldn't have even been a factor now because of the NIL deals and growing trends in alternative draft routes. But remember, Wiseman's draft class was a year before the initial G League Ignite season, and the NBL route was really only getting started, and going to college just seemed safer at the time. Even though he only played in 2 games and still went top 2 in the draft, Wiseman likely would have benefited from a full season at Memphis. Maybe a full season at Memphis would have shown his flaws to prospect more, but at the same time, I just think getting on-court reps are more valuable. I think long-term, those reps would have been more important than maybe going a few picks higher in the draft. The point is that on-court reps getting taken away for a stupid reason, and having those reps would have been more valuable if he were able to play full season. On top of this, what happened in 2020 really threw off how players could work out and train at the time. So he was already in an unfavorable spot development-wise because of the lack of reps he was getting in on-court situations with real game reps that could have helped. And the rule throwing out just about how everyone, including him, could train and develop to a certain extent was playing a factor as well. So when James Wiseman made his NBA debut as a starter, he basically went from high school and AAU competition to minimal college experience to playing in the best league in the world, which is a hard jump to make, to say the least. He basically went prep to pro with a gap year where he barely plays. I would say that Wiseman was actually pretty solid as a rookie given his circumstances, from the talent level competition jump he had to make being really hard, and the unideal process he had to go through during his pre-draft year as well. Yes, he did benefit from playing off the gravity of Steph Curry. Yes, he wasn't great at times. There were moments that weren't the best, to say the least, but he was a rookie, and given everything, I thought he was actually pretty good. However, injuries have also played a big factor as well. He suffered a torn meniscus halfway through his rookie year that shut him down for the rest of the season, and he suffered multiple setbacks in year 2 that basically shut him down for the season without playing a single game. So technically speaking, next season, or actually this upcoming season, will be his second full season, or real season in the NBA. I'll be honest as well, I also didn't have a problem with him celebrating with the team when they won the title. He is a part of the roster. He puts the hours in throughout the season and practice, as well as recovering from injury. Yeah, he didn't play a role on the court for the Warriors, but it goes beyond what you do on the court, which is why I don't have a problem with him celebrating with the team that he's a part of. Going through injuries and being kept off the court is tough for any athlete that loves the game. Again, I really just didn't see the problem with him celebrating with the team that he's a part of with his teammates when they just won the NBA title, which is literally the most important, the most impactful thing you can win as an NBA franchise. And I really think seeing the people online that were clowning him, making fun of him for it, for literally just doing what anyone in a situation would do, really exposed the fact that some of y'all did not play sports growing up. So Wiseman has dealt with stunts in his development from both a circumstance perspective and an injury perspective, and while I was lower on Wiseman entering the league, I don't think it's fair to be harsh on him either, given the barriers put in place would affect a majority of young players' developments as well. I don't know what Wiseman would be if he didn't have these barriers in his way. I can only speculate. But I am hoping for the best for Wiseman. I hope he proves me and many others wrong, because he seems like a nice guy with real talent. Plus, I have been encouraged by what I saw recently. As many of you know, I go to Summer League every year in Las Vegas, and I got to watch James Wiseman play this year at the event. First time seeing him in person, and he wasn't able to play last year even though he was at the event because he was out by injury, so again, first time getting to see him play. First of all, he's an absolute giant of a human being. I'm not comparing them as players by any stretch of the imagination, but he's about as towering as a human being as Giannis Antetokounmpo is, who I've also seen in person. He's not quite as muscular as Giannis, but he is a bit taller. He's every bit that's 7 feet tall, and he might be a little bit taller as well because he does have a slight slouch in his posture when he's on the court. It's not too noticeable on television, but it is something that is somewhat more noticeable in person. And he affected the game just by being a rather large human being. That alone made him an obstacle to finish over or around at the rim. Plus, he has really long arms that make him an effective shot blocker as well. He still has his foul trouble moments, but you see the tools he has to defend the rim. He has and always will be one of the most freakish straight line athletes I have seen that is 7 feet tall. He's really fast in the open floor as a 7-footer. His ability to run the floor is very good for someone that tall, and it could be a real threat for the Warriors' transition game if he's playing this season. He displayed some shooting touch as well. Still don't think he will ever be a lethal threat in this area, but the indicators are there for being average in this area in due time. I still think he will be best as a lob threat, rim runner, roll man, putback guy. He could be a somewhat respectable jump shooter in due time, but it still isn't something I would say is a part of his game right now. However, what I was most impressed by with Wiseman was just how much he improved as a lateral mover. His hip mobility and ability to slide his feet from side to side improved so much comparing my most recent time watching him in person to even his rookie season. He's not elite in this area. I don't think he's going to be some switchable big that is versatile on defense. I still view him as a traditional drop big on defense that defends the paint. But he has shown legit improvement as a lateral mover, which was always my biggest concern with his game. Overall, I still don't think Wiseman is going to be this all-star level player, this superstar big that's dominant on both ends of the floor. But I think people have also been too harsh on him as well. He hasn't had the ideal circumstances entering the league. He's had multiple setbacks in his development that would affect any young players. The injuries are a real factor in this, a factor that he hasn't been able to control and isn't his fault for not being able to control. But I also think he can still be a good player, someone that has an impact on winning basketball. I think the improvements he's made with his lateral quickness are very important and very noticeable. And again, I'm hoping for the best for James Wiseman and then some. He's just trying to live out his dream of playing in the best league in the world. A dream he's put in a lot of work to get to. More work than you could possibly imagine. The work it takes to make it to the league at the level Wiseman has is not easy. And I hope that he's able to live out a very successful NBA career. And I hope he also proves me and every other doubter of him wrong. But that's the end of this video for me to this point. Thank you so much. Again, haven't already, like, subscribe, hit notification bell. I'm notified whenever I release a video. I'm making videos about basketball content all the time, so if that's something that interests you, this is the channel for you. And liking and subscribing are the best way you can support me and help me grow as a content creator. So I'd really appreciate if you would do those things if you haven't already and you liked my content. Again, like my content, why not leave a like and support the channel, because I have more content like this that I have in the future and other content you can check out like this already on the channel. I have another channel that I make videos about Scooby-Doo and anime, so if you want to check that out, link that channel in the description below and the pinned comment. 2 videos will be popping up here. One of those videos is me reviewing every episode of Scooby-Doo Where Are You? Another video about Classroom of the Elite. Click the icon here to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, or check out other videos if you want to do that. I have a ton of videos that you can check out, over 50 at least, and you can also click here to watch a video that YouTube will be recommending from this channel if you want to do that. But with that being said, have a nice day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.